thing. All right? 'Cause a lot of folks right now are talking all about new age versus old age. And new players are weak and scrubs. And you wouldn't be able to hang back in the day with those old school players in the old game. So new game's bad, but old game good, right? Which is coming up right now because of Tekken 8. Kept changing drastically from Tekken 7. And similar things happening with Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 5. Now, I've been playing fighting games my whole life. I'm old enough to have played in the arcades during that era. And some other people have already talked about this, but I also want to weigh in, which is that part of what made old games harder wasn't just that they were hard, but there are folks who are playing those old games now, and they play them pretty well. What made them hard is that you didn't know anything, and it was really hard to get good at them because you didn't have information, you didn't have players to play it were strong. Locally, you were screwed. You couldn't get stronger, so it was really hard to like get any match of experience that was relevant. It was just lack of information. Most of it was lack of information. And the top players would hoard it. So unless you became top also, you didn't get to play with the best players. So you never got a chance to learn how to be good, too. So there was not just a lack of knowledge, but a lack of sharing of knowledge. That's why when people talk about the arcade days, I talk about this in another video of mine, how I used to go to the arcade, I'd ask them, hey, how are you moving like that? I didn't know what it was called, Korean backdashing against me. Like, what is that? How do you do it? Motherfucker said, I'm not telling you shit. And they wouldn't tell you shit because they had to put money in the thing. And they didn't want to wait for 7 people if they lost, they taught you how to do something, and now they have to lose. So there was an incentive to not teach people anything, and they didn't. So not only was hidden information hard to come by, it was hard to get. It was hard to learn and hard to get. Not even getting into the fact that, inputs were more restrictive, which is technically execution-wise was much harder in old game. That is totally legit and was harder. But the other part that I don't see, I've only seen Max talk about this, which is part of why I was like, oh yeah, he knows. Because I've talked about this in previous videos too, which is motherfuckers hoarded information. People who knew wouldn't tell you. They would just body you and wouldn't tell you anything. And some of them would lie and tell you his info, Firebird, exactly. They would tell you the wrong thing. They would tell you the thing that was incorrect, and you'd keep losing. So there was more gatekeeping back then. And I think when people harken back to the old days and say, oh, hey, how much stronger people were back then, and how, new players wouldn't hang with those old players. I mean, well, are the old players hanging with the new players? Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Some of them fell off. Viscant posted on his Twitter, the reason he fell off is because other people gained information and they started beating him. And that's why he fell off. That was his edge. His edge was information. And he admits it. I respect him very much for that. And there are many other top players from the old days that were top because they had information you didn't have. And they wouldn't share it with you and they wouldn't tell you. That's the biggest thing. So, but are new games getting more aggressive? And are they easier to play? Yeah, they are. They are. But I think the gatekeeping was a bigger issue. And even if those older games like Street Fighter Third Strike were like played as much as they used to be played, in the modern day era, when you had information where you can just watch any set you want, online easily, quickly, you'd find some of those players that were top back in the day that were top only because they had information that other people didn't have, and they hoarded it and kept it amongst each other, wouldn't be very good. They wouldn't be able to compete. So today's modern fighting game players, I think, are stronger. Now, granted, I'm a modern player. I mean, I played back then too, but I got good in the modern age because I had information. I literally am a case example of give me information and I will fuck you up. But if you don't tell me the information, if I have no way to learn it, I won't be able to beat you. I won't. But if I have all the information on the table, I will beat you. If you're not better than me. We can truly be on an even playing field and fight each other. You don't think fires are easier now? They're easier to get into, to get good at? Yeah, that's what I mean. They're easier to play. Well, what makes them hard now is that, yeah, you can move versus the mid and low. Yeah, I'm not riding the Tekken's back because of that, actually. I'm just doing content. Yeah, I mean, I can't get into specifics about Tekken because I have no real leg to stand on there. Game seems more aggressive to me, and I like that. More coin flippy to me, which I also like. So, you know, but more on the old game bad, good, new game bad, or old players good, new games bad. So when I say a game is new games are easier, I mean, one, it's easier to get information. I can watch any top player's inputs on the in-game replay system and learn how to do what they're doing. That was unheard of. One of my most popular videos on my YouTube channel is not me playing the game. Well, now it's changed, me talking. But for years, from 2013 to like, I don't know, a couple years ago, it was a ripped VOD of a Virtual Fighter Beat Tribe Cup. Footage that you cannot find anywhere else because I recorded it live and posted it on my YouTube because I wanted it to be safe. That was this, and the footage is horrible. It's like some grainy shit. It's like 420p or some shit. It's gross. But that's what we had. So back then, even 10 years ago, like, you were looking at cubes on a screen and trying to infer what the person did and try to infer what might have been happening. Now we can just look at the inputs, so we can see we can see them in the replay. That's huge. That's what I mean by it's easier to get better at these games nowadays. It's easier to be competent, to be a high-ish level player, to be amongst the high-level players. It's harder to be the best now than it ever was before. It's easier to be strong. It's hard to be the best. So the best players today, I think, are stronger than the best players of yore because they have a much harder environment to compete in. The skill level of players, on average, is higher now. You can't save stuff for majors. That was real. That was a real thing that used to be a thing. It's no longer real. You can't hide anything because someone's going to find it and they're going to post it. And everyone's going to learn it. Now we all know how to do it nowadays. High-level competition is more accessible now. Back in the day, if you didn't have a friend who was good at the game who you could play with, you were out of luck. Too bad for you. You're screwed. Now you can play anywhere you want. Play online. Online's half decent. You can train and get pretty good doing that, and get access to really good players. If I'm playing Tekken on ranked, when I'm fighting, blue ranks, most of those are the dudes I fight in tournaments when I go in bracket. So like, I can get tournament style practice in ranked mode in Tekken. That was unheard of. When I played Tekken 5, I'd have to go to the arcade, play against somebody who wouldn't tell me what they were doing when they beat me, or how they moved like they did, and then play against a computer at home. I had no way to get better. I had to just, guess or intuit the system or hope someone would tell me what they were doing. You know? Mouse, the reason why people didn't share information, partly back in the day, is because the arcade environment was pay to play. If you lost, you had to pay. If you won, you got the next game for free. So there was no incentive to teach anyone. And this was the problem in the States. This was not the case in Japan. That's why they were so much better than us. Specifically in Virtual Fighter. Other games, I hear, had the same culture of sharing information, of telling each other how to be better. That wasn't the case in the West. That's why we lagged. Why the States lagged for so long. Our culture was different. And because of that culture we had, our arcade scene died faster than theirs. And they were stronger than us for a very long time. The culture has shifted now. And what's happened? We're a lot better. Outside Japan, we're much better now. Because we have adapted the let's share, let's become better, let's all get stronger together. And yes, it is in the best interest of developers to make games more accessible. I mean, they want them to be more accessible because it means more money for them. Right? Like, they want that. They don't want people not playing their game because they can't figure it out. I miss the culture, the community of arcades, but I don't miss the culture of the arcade. I like the modern arcades, which I play in all the time. They're fun. They're nice. Tekken 3 was one of the first fighting games to be as in-depth as it was. I mean, VF2 and Street Fighter 2. But you said one of. So, that sounds accurate. So yeah. I don't think new players are worse than old players. I really do think current players who are playing at the top level are playing in a like our current era for fighting games is at, if not better than things were for us as a scene overall in the 90s during our golden age. We're in a new golden age. We're in the second golden phase of fighting games. Right now. Right now. Yeah, mid 90s period, early to late apps were also toxic as F. Yes. Things were toxic up until like 2011. You know? So, yeah. And there are some players who are like talking about how things are, you know, different nowadays. Remember, I competed back then. I was in the arcade. I was trying to get good. So, you know, the only folks I hear really saying how things from old players are better than new players are the folks who were strong back then. Yeah, in the age of hiding information, in the age of bogarting any tech, in the age of giving people misinformation when you know you're goddamn lying to them. I respect players who are good now. Way more. Because you can't hide information. You have to make reads. You have to make decisions. You have to just be better than them. And everyone knows everything at the top level. If you want to get good, you can get good at these games. In the old days, if you wanted to get good, you couldn't. You're shit out of luck because if you don't have a friend who can teach you, or you're playing Virtual Fighter 4 Evo, which also taught you, that's why I got good. VF4 Evo taught me how to play the game. They taught me all the things that no one would teach me, that I had no one to learn from. I learned from the game. Right, people like Justin Wong and Daigo are still strong. That's why I respect them so much. Because it's clear they're just good.